This is Astro, and he is a giant Madagascar Hognose Snake, and he's a male, and we're going to be rehousing him into this beautiful quadplex today.
Right, so this is the third enclosure of the quadplex here today. Now this process should be pretty familiar to you at this point, so I've skipped past me cutting and installing the background. I imagine you all get the gist of it by now. The next step is obviously grouting the bugger, so after mixing and pouring, we can get started with that phase. Now the bag of grout said bone colour. Not really sure who comes up with these colour names, but alright. It's more brown than anything else, which confused me at first, I won't lie. Bones are more white in colour, right? Or is that just me?
So here we are, sitting in me lovely renovated snake room with me snake racks and the big old quadplex here. But the snake that we're actually going to be housing today is going to be in this bottom enclosure here, and his name is Astro. Here's little Astro. Oh, you're going to hiss? So now we've met Astro, let's start setting up his enclosure for him. So as you can probably tell from all of this random junk that we got around here, I'm setting up all of the snakes in this quadplex today. However, I'm only going to be showing you Astro, one snake. So I need to keep this enclosure relatively humid for him. Based on all the research I've found on these guys, and there isn't that much to be completely honest, they have a pretty moderate level of humidity kind of throughout their habitat, and then they do have areas where there's 100% humidity. So that's what I want to try and emulate. I want to make the entire enclosure relatively humid and then have one area where it's really humid. I've got this cypress mulch here, and this isn't a mix of cypress mulch, this is pure cypress mulch, which is apparently very difficult to find. I had a friend tell me as to where I could get it because she has a ton of reptiles, snakes and whatnot, and she's basically my go-to expert if I need any advice or help. And this is the stuff that she uses, so that's the stuff I'm going to use. I also have some leaves here, so I gathered these in the last fall and then I froze them and I've just had them since. So we're going to put some of those in there as well. We've got all of our cork barks here. Now, I've given him options to climb. He's never used it. Doesn't have any interest, but we'll give him the option anyway. And then I also have some of these, which we may end up using, we might not, we'll see how it goes. Big old water bowl. He doesn't soak all that much, but occasionally I'll see him in there. Now, unfortunately for now, because I am kind of running out of time when it comes to this enclosure, so for hides, I'm just going to be using this kind of large rabbit hides. And then I've also got these offcuts of pipe that I've cleaned and everything that I'll also put in there. That's just a temporary thing. Once I get a little bit more time in some future videos and we've gone through all of the quadplex stuff, I'm going to turn this into a lock. So we'll do that in an upcoming video. The benefit of using something like cypress mulch is that it doesn't rot or it doesn't mold. So I want to give him a nice good layer of substrate in here. I do have another bag of that cypress mulch, so I'm not scared about using a good amount of this. Maybe one or two more sets of this filled will do. That might just do it. Right, so there's all our mulch installed. We've got a nice big water bowl for him, which I think, well, we probably don't want to put it on the hot side. We've got his crappy little hide for now, but as I said, this is all we have temporarily, which we're going to put, I wonder, maybe we could do that. Maybe we could build that hide into the, like the substrate kind of. Let's give that a shot. This will make it look a lot less ugly as well. Then we've got our tube, which we'll put over there on the cold side, which I think actually what I'll do is bury the one side in with substrate, so it will act as a bit more of a hide than just a tube. You know what? That was a mistake. Let's get you out of there. So I actually reach what I'm doing here. That's the one thing, is that these snakes are quite strong, so the hides need to be kind of wedged in there a bit. I'll toss a little bit in there and he'll push that down to the bottom, outside there. I can guarantee you that's going to be his favourite hide. Put this water bowl back in. Now my hands are dirty again. What a nightmare. These hides are only temporary, so I'm not going to worry too much about making them look beautiful. Put a couple of branches in, so he's got something to rub up on when he's shedding. So we'll leave that one there, and that will kind of put a little bit of strength into that. And then that's really his hot spot up here anyway. And then just so we can monitor and check this, because even though we have a thermostat in our side door there to test the temperatures, I want to be a little bit more aware of what it is across the enclosure, because that only tells me where the heat probe is. So we're going to stuff this in that corner for now, and we're going to stick this on the complete opposite side. right up there out of view. He'll never even probably touch that, which I hope he doesn't, because then it will fall in the water bowl and probably won't work again. Give him some water, only the best for my snakes. And then we've got our leaves here, because when you look at videos of like the Madagascar floor, it's pretty much just covered with like leaves and foliage and everything, so I want to try and emulate that to the best of my ability. We've got a good variety of sizes of leaves in here as well, so that's nice. Toss a couple up there. This just adds a little bit of texture and difference to the enclosure. Makes it look a little bit more naturalistic. Move those aside, clean up me mess. We're gonna have to vacuum this room by the time we're done, or when I say we, I mean me, obviously. So here we have Astro's enclosure finished. I've just had it sitting for a little while now. So I added more substrate to the enclosure so that I could cover this hide a little bit more. I can't cover the entire thing because it just wants to fall off. But it's fine, this is just a temporary hide anyway, but it just looks a little bit more natural for now. Same with that one over there. He's got a lot of substrate in there. He can dig behind this if he wants. He can go underneath this if he wants. But the enclosure's pretty much ready for little Astro, so let's get him in there. This here is little Astro in his current enclosure. He's the only snake that's actually in the rack system because he's the only one small enough to even be able to, you know, live in those things. Now his enclosure doesn't normally look like this. As you can tell, there was a water bowl here, but it's now in there. But there's kind of a upgrade. Quite a big difference. Now, disclaimer here, he is a giant Madagascar hognose snake, and he is wild caught. I got him from a pet store a few hours away from me, and I actually bought quite a few hognose snakes from them. He's not a great eater for me. He eats typically once a month at the moment, whereas all the others are absolute monsters. The only reason I haven't actually picked him up right now is the fact that he loves to musk. So I'm gonna be smelling like absolute crap for the next few minutes, but well, it's the reality of having a slightly scared snake. Hey buddy, no musking. So here he is. Here's little Astro. I mean, you can kind of see the musking there. That little bump is his cloaca. It's open as soon as you pretty much touch him. But apart from that, he's pretty chill. But he is wild caught, so he has got a lot of scarring and things on him, and he's not the happiest of campers. He's flattening his neck a little bit. It's going to be difficult for me to show you that. You're gonna do it for the camera? I'm sorry buddy, but I have to move the camera so people can actually see me house you. And I know you're not very happy with me, but you'll be much more happy with me once you're in there. So give me a few moments to change the setup here. Let's get rid of this little bugger. There's little Astro. And as I said, that is exactly where he's going first. And that's probably all we're going to be getting from him for today. So I'm sure you guys want to see a little bit more of him. So let's jump.
So here's little Astro about a week or so later, loving his little enclosure.